Yo, what is good, everybody? It is your boy Golden Falls, Golden What Ifs, whatever you want to call me, and I am back. This is a brand new What If. What if Deku had a demonic Quirk? And yeah, as always, if you guys enjoy, please show some love. Leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. Also, check the links in the description for the Spotify, the Discord, Spotify, Discord, and also the membership. Okay, I got it all right that time. Make sure to check all those links out down in the description below. And I don't want to waste that much more of your time, and I want to get right into it. So let's get it. Izuku Midoriya is in a world full of quirks, superpowers, or whatever the hell you want to call them. And these quirks / superpowers range in many. The range of these superpowers or quirks change from person to person to even not having a quirk at all, or being able to become basically a washing machine. Now, with all this said, with everything that is said within this, and with everything Izuku Midoriya is preparing for, he would have never thought that when he turned only 4 years old, that he would have a quirk that would make people fear him so greatly. His quirk had a lot to do with another person whispering in his ear. This weird demonic thing would latch on to Izuku, kind of like this being of some sorts that would stay with him. And sometimes that being would be granted the ability to take over, and his eyes would go black, and his teeth would grow sharp. And this would scare so many people. This would even scare his own mother. And for years, he would be told to stay away from it. Do not allow the being to really take over. Do not allow anything to happen. But little things and little powers Izuku would have. They would come out here and there. And, every so often, Izuku would be able to do certain things. He'd be able to be stronger, be able to be faster, be able to be quicker. All of these different things, and it's kind of interesting in a way, kind of odd. They don't know exactly what's happening, and Izuku has really very little idea what's happening as well. But at the end of the day, Izuku would see it as a way to get power, strength, and ability. At the end of the day, Izuku would see this as a way and a platform to him eventually becoming a hero. He wouldn't think that much about it. He wouldn't think like, oh, is this safe? Is this okay? Like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? He wouldn't think about any of that. He would think that this is his chance. This is his opportunity to become the hero he knows he can be and become the hero he truly wants to be. So that's all that's flooding through his head. That's literally the entire idea that is pouring through his mind. And that's the idea that he's going to hold on to this entire time. He begins to push forward on this same idea, begins to push forward in the regard of actually being able to maintain this power, actually being able to hold this power. And as he gets older, as he's around 15 years old, Izuku would continue showing off that he's actually getting stronger and stronger as time would go on. Seemingly, this demonic-esque power is giving him little bits of its own power in spurts, just tiny bit, inch after inch, and just little bit after bit. And honestly, Izuku would think this is all normal, that this is exactly what's supposed to happen, all the way up until he has his first kind of encounter with the sludge villain. And initially, Izuku's able to keep away from him, kind of get away and like somewhat fight against the sludge villain. Now, it's not like he's able to overpower the sludge villain like instantly and destroy him into little pieces. No, he can't, but he definitely is able to stay away from him, avoid him, and kind of keep his distance so he doesn't get hurt. Eventually, All Might would arrive, and he would quote-unquote save Izuku. And this is when Izuku would ask him for an autograph, would be like, oh, I'm such a big fan, this and that, and all this other stuff. And he would be asking him, like, that if he can he can be a hero with such an unorthodox quirk. And he basically tells the kid, like, if you were able to keep your distance, stay away from a villain like that, there's no doubt you can become a hero, right? There's no doubt that you have the potential. It's really just putting yourself in position to work hard and just be the hero you truly believe you can be. And Izuku would hear this and be like, you know what? He's right. I can do this. I know I can do this. I mean, like, I can truly get this done. Yeah, is it going to be difficult? Of course. Is it going to be hard? Of course. Is there going to be struggles, here and there? Every day of the week. But at the end of the day, he knows if he pushes hard enough, he tries hard enough, and he does everything in his power, eventually he will be able to do it. And eventually he'll be able to be the hero he wants to be so badly. So this would lead Izuku into training, working hard and preparing himself. All he's doing is pushing himself and pushing himself. He wants to see how much power he can get out of this unorthodox kind of like emitter that is beneath him. This kind of weird mutation that he has, and this kind of odd thing that lays on his shoulders. He doesn't know where it's from, what it's happening, or what's even going on, but he believes that it's giving him power in spurts, and that he could continue getting that power and continue getting some more of the abilities that he can truly show off. And he continues to try his best to do that. And this would lead him, obviously, to the UA entrance exam. And ironically enough, he wouldn't have like the hardest thing, or kind of the hardest the hardest test in the world. I mean, he's pretty physically inept, right? He's pretty strong, and he's able to get things done. So when he goes into that UA entrance exam, when he goes prepared and all the above, he takes the written portion of the test, and then he tries out for the practical, destroying a robot and another robot and another robot, and he continues to obliterate robot after robot, leading him to seeing this giant robot, a ginormous robot that is insane. We're talking about the size of buildings. And he tries to just leave, but then he sees a girl on the ground, a young girl by the name of Ochako Uraraka, and he goes to save her, tries anything. He goes toward the robot and he can't do a single thing, but then something happens within Izuku. Something happens in his mind. Something happens beneath the surface, and something snaps. He doesn't know what happens or what occurs. He has no recollection of what happened, but out of nowhere, he would get this aura of darkness surrounding him, and his eyes would go black, completely black. Yes, from time to time they show up like this, and from time to time they show up pretty dark, right? But Izuku still has a little bit of that color that he normally has. But this time, his whole eye saw everything would fill in this darkness, and his eyes would glow this neon green. Terrifying. His teeth would grow even sharper than what they normally are. Everything that everyone was already scared of in the first place, even the normal stuff that Izuku will written off as, just part of his own quirk, well, it seems as if they're getting enhanced. They're getting stronger. His eyes more scarier, his aura more scarier, his teeth even sharper. And then he would charge at this giant robot. And in one foul swoop, the robot would be grabbed and torn to shreds. Izuku awakening a power strong enough to topple a giant robot, and the power to destroy it all. Izuku would head back to everyone in a normal state. And let's just say a lot of people are scared, but a lot of people are curious. They're wondering how he did it. They're wondering what even happened. How was he able to do it? But Izuku, well, he doesn't know. He doesn't actually even remember. He doesn't have any idea, actually. How did he do that? What even happened? And everyone's like, what? What do you mean you don't know? Like, that doesn't even make sense. I don't understand how you don't know. In which Izuku's like, I don't know. I really don't understand. In which, of course, everyone's like, okay. And even teachers would eventually ask him, like, what happened there? Like, how did you just awaken such crazy power? In which Izuku tells him that out of nowhere, he just felt the power arise from him, and he was able to destroy it. And that's all he knows. In which they're very, very skeptical. They're wondering, what did Izuku do? like truly, what did he do? Because there has to be something more than what he's leading on. There has to be something more than what's actually occurring, because there's no way it's just out of coincidence. There's no way that it's just out of nowhere Izuku was able to do this crazy thing. No, it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. So it's pretty obvious that there's something laying dormant. There's something that they're not aware of, and there's something that they need to be aware of. Because Izuku Midoriya and his scary like power, well, it makes them question. But frankly, not only does he kind of go head over everybody in terms of the power that he portrayed and everything he did in the UA entrance exam, but on top of that, they believe the best place for him, the best place for him to be, is UA. 100%, it has to be UA, because at least they can keep an eye on him, keep him from going haywire, or maybe something would arise and he would get even more power. But they still don't really know. They don't know what he can do. They don't know what he's capable of. And they don't really know what's truly happening. But at the end of the day, they believe that this right here, keeping him here and making sure that he can't just, disappear, making sure that he can't just go away, and making sure that, Izuku doesn't just go AWOL out of nowhere, is probably best if they keep him in arm's length. So that's exactly what they decide to do. They keep Izuku Midoriya in arm's length. They keep him right where they can actually see him, and keep him right where they actually can control what's happening. Or at least that's what they believe they can truly do. I mean, with the help of Aizawa and many others, they should be able to control an outburst of some sorts. But at the same time, Izuku hasn't shown, he literally hasn't shown anything that he would somehow hurt somebody, or show that somehow he would do something along those lines. He hasn't shown any of that. So it's always good that he hasn't, and it's always good that he hasn't hurt nobody, right? I feel like that is definitely a good thing and a good sign. So they just want to keep him in check, keep him in arm's reach, to make sure that everything will end up all right. Eventually, he would go to UA, and eventually he would have 2 solid days. I mean, we would have the Quirk assessment, where Izuku would go through all of the different portions, and he would show that he's capable of almost everything. I mean, he's pretty strong, he's pretty fast, he's all of the above. I mean, he scores basically in the top 5 in every single category, which puts him up there with a lot of these people. Now, even with those scorings, everyone's thinking, you know what? Maybe he has the potential to be a really great hero, a really strong hero. Now, he doesn't do anything specifically well. He doesn't do anything insane. But when he goes and faces off with Bakugo and Tenya Ida, well, it's pretty obvious that he's pretty good. He straight up is able to handle Tenya and Bakugo when they go with, well, obviously with Ochako, when they try to take down both of the villains, quote unquote, right, Bakugo and Tenya, and grab the bomb. And it's pretty obvious that he's capable. He is taking them down. He is outpacing them. He is showing okay, maybe this kid is better than what we thought. Maybe he really is that next great hero, and maybe we should put a little bit more trust in what we believe he can do. And they believe that whatever happened that day is just unlocked potential that he really showed off, and the unlocked potential that he really gave off when he needed it. When things were going wrong, he was able to stop it. He was able to shut it all down. And that right there is something that they believe is important, and they believe that they're eventually going to be able to crack. They're eventually going to be able to get into, because Izuku might just have that potential to be that next great hero. Now, there's always many more steps to being a great hero, and those steps would include kind of this rescue portion of these training sessions. And that rescue portion that they would get into would be pretty straightforward. We would have this USJ, or a giant facility ran by Pro Hero 13, or mostly kind of taught by Pro Hero 13. And he would head off over there, would see what's going on. And Izuku, well, he would be surprised because many villains would show up. A lot of villains would show up. Villains of vast majority, and villains that were all from the League of Villains. Scary ones, in fact. And Izuku, well, he thinks, well, he has to do something. He has to stop this, and he needs to help out where he can help out. And this is before, out of nowhere, Izuku would get teleported away. Teleported to a different area, teleported to a nearby lake. He would fall into the water, get saved by Asui, and then they would have to find a way to get out of here. But luckily, Izuku tells her that there's a good chance that if they both put their strengths together, they should be able to jump across this entire lake, in which that's exactly what they potentially try to do, and they easily do it. Izuku feels that strength and the power surging within him, and he believes like, okay, you know what? I can do this. Like, we can do this. And he tries his best to kind of keep people away and, get them out of harm's way. And then he looks and sees that Shigaraki is putting his hand through a portal, and it goes directly toward Asui, as Asui would be grabbed in the face, or about to be grabbed in the face, and Izuku would immediately kick the arm away and grab Asui, taking her away and seeing what's going on, seeing what's happening. And Asui would thank him. Thank you so much, blah, 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 all this stuff. And she would look at him, and his eyes would grow darker, and his pupils themselves would grow brighter, and Izuku's teeth would grow sharper once again, as he would give this kind of weird, bone-chilling kind of wording, and he would begin speaking in this really terrifying way. And he would begin talking about how these villains, that they are nothing, they are useless, and that they are granted such glorious potential, but they squander it. Squander it for what? To take over this little hero high school? Take over this area that nobody gives an F about? Why not go bigger? Why not go greater? And he thinks about it. Maybe they are trying to. Maybe they're trying to kill All Might. And then an idea would flood through his head, and he begins laughing maniacally. And everyone around him is like, what the hell is even going on? And yeah, this is scary, and this is what they were worried about. Because he would jump into the fight, and he would kill, yes, end the lives of all the villains, except for obviously the high-end ones, being that of the Nomu, Shigaraki, and obviously Kurogiri. And he would end them swiftly, like we're talking swiftly, ending them almost immediately and taking them out for good. And this is when he would walk up towards Shigaraki, and he would ask him, what's his doing here? Why is he here? And he wonders, what does he want to get into? What was his potential idea? And why did he show up on the doorstep of, well, teenagers? Yes, these are the heroes of the future, and these are the future of hero society. But why? Why would you show up here? What's the point? To kill All Might? If your idea and your plan is so small, then maybe you shouldn't be the one enacting it. In which everyone's listening to this wondering, what is going on? Who is this? And is this really Izuku Midoriya? And Aizawa would tell the kid to get the hell out of the way, as the Nomu would come running in, about to punch Izuku, and Izuku would dodge it effortlessly and grab the Nomu by the back of the neck. And he would immediately start changing the Nomu. And these symbols would show up on the Nomu's body, and Izuku would look at them and look at the other villains that are there, and he would tell them that they messed up. They messed up really, really bad. Like, really bad. Because everything that you see here, everything that you are doing here, well, it's slowing down my eventual arrival. in which Izuku, still talking in this terrifying voice, he would then send the Nomu forward as it would rip the other two to shreds, and then even Kurogiri would be unable to react as their quirks felt heavier and harder to even utilize. They've never felt this before, but it seemed as if they were unable to do much and unable to do anything, in which Izuku watches this Nomu beat the villain senseless, and then he would turn toward everyone else and he would tell them that eventually and very, very soon, he will arrive. And he's telling them all that this is just a little snippet of what's going to happen, a little snippet of what is going to occur, and that he would allow anybody and anyone to follow along if they so choose, or they may just have the same fate as the other two that lay right here. In which Izuku tells them this and then would float in the air and tell them that for now he'll be seeing them, and he's sure that he'll come across them once again very, very soon. He would disappear into nothingness and everybody would be in shock. What just happened? The villains were destroyed. The Nomu is now gone. Everyone is dead. How? What even happened? It doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. And all of them are in shock. Every last one of them, from literally the teachers to the students and every single person you could think of, all of them can't even fathom what even is going on. They can't fathom what is happening. But all they know is that Izuku was not who he said he was. Or at least that's what they believe. And eventually Izuku would be gone somewhere else in a city of some sorts. Now, the city is not too big. It's probably more like a town area. And this is when he would walk up completely calm, completely relaxed, and he would find actually quite a bit of people there. And it seems as if they're not too happy that he actually even showed up in the first place, right? They're like, what is this? Who is this? And what's even going on? And Izuku would walk up. Izuku would approach and tell them that there's no need to strike. There's no need to fight. There's no need to attack him. He just wants to speak. That's it. He just wants to talk. That's all that he wants to do. And he begins speaking to some of the people that are there, especially after they attack him and he defeats them so easily. But he doesn't kill anybody. And he tells them that he means them absolutely no harm. And he tells them that they are something else. He's heard about them, actually. He's heard about them. He's seen that they live in a world, live in their little society, that's they can do whatever they want. They can enjoy whatever they want. This town hasn't been really found, not talked about much, and none of anything crazy at all. But he wants to give them an opportunity that this city can thrive even more. This city can enjoy their eventual, stand-alone enjoyment of doing whatever they want. And yes, he knows they are liberated. That's what they believe, that they are liberated. But he wants them to truly understand that one day heroes will come. One day heroes will arrive. And they will crumble. Or they can lead with him. Or they can learn from him. Or they can stand by him. And he tells them that if anybody believes that they want to join him, they should stand up right now and walk forward. And eventually, the number one head honcho would show his face. Redestro would walk up. And he would tell him that they aren't taking any bets and any kind of step ups from other villains and other terrifying beings. And Izuku would cut him off. Villain? No, 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 no. I'm no villain. No. I'm just inhabiting for now. But I am no villain. I'm no hero. I'm no anti-hero. I am no criminal. I am no nothing. I am nothing. And I just want to give you all a chance. He appears, or makes the Nomu appear, and he tells them that he can grant them more power. He can grant them exactly what they desire. Everything they desire. All they have to do is agree. That's it. That's all you have to do is agree. And he tells them that he will brand them. He will place his hand on them to show that he is in alliance with them and they are in an alliance with him. And he will grant them more power than you could imagine. Power that would be beautiful. And power that you can hold on to and understand for the rest of your lives. And he tells them that they have a chance here. A chance. And he is not cursing them. He is not straying, making them feel inadequate. He wants them to have an option. And eventually Redestro shuts it all down. He tells them if he doesn't leave right now, that he will die. In which Izuku looks at him and says, you know what? If that's how you want it, that's how you want it. He places his hand on the ground, and nothing can be shown to them, not to the naked eye, but Izuku would place something, a sigil, on the ground, and he would tell them that one day something bad will happen, and it won't be the person you're seeing in front of you. It will be of your own will. He walks away, and he would disappear into nothingness as if he just teleported away, and he was gone. To the naked eye, Izuku Midoriya is gone. But he left a sigil back there, a sigil that will spread through the entire town. The entire town will feel the effect of this sigil itself and this curse. And it seems as if this curse will bring them everything that they never wanted to happen. The curse will ensue throughout the entire city, and Izuku will start eventually and slowly but surely showing them what happens when you don't agree to stand next to him. And soon Izuku would gain and gather a group of villains, villain after villain after villain, and there's one villain that is watching, one villain that is curious, and one villain that needs to know more, and that villain is obviously All For One. All For One is wondering how, where, and just where exactly did this guy come from, and how did he defeat Shigaraki, Kurogiri, and the Nomu so easily? It doesn't make sense. But Izuku himself, he finds a couple villains, you could say, a couple unknown villains that really, they need him. They need him. And these villains, are villains that, let's just be honest, not many people would have known of and were cast aside so greatly. And the first one is Himiko Toga. And Toga is granted a literal curse brand herself, and all the other ones as well, the ones that they eventually meet. Obviously, you have Toga, you have Dabi, you have Twice, and you have Splinter. And these four, all have gone through their bad ways, and they've all dealt with this kind of horrible discrimination, and Izuku helps them. And he realizes something. As he helps Toga, as he helps Splinter, as he helps Twice, these obviously being different events, these people being different, and these people, all of them having different personalities, different woes, and different issues. He sees something though. Dabi. Interesting. You're not normal, are you, Dabi? in which obviously he's confused. What the hell are you even talking about? Like, normal what? Of course we're not normal. Are you dumb? Like, you got black eyes and I have scars all over my body. And Izuku's like, that's not what I meant. All of us, yeah, we're abnormal when you look at us. I got sharp teeth, black eyes, like you said, and my aura reeks of darkness. But no, that's not what I'm talking about. You, I can smell it on you. I can sense it on you. You are the brother of that Todoroki, Shoto Todoroki. But you don't seem to have a place in your heart that has any love for them anymore. I can sense it. All I can feel through you is hatred. In which, of course, Dabi's like, okay, what's it to you? What do you mean? Why does it even matter? Any of that? And he tells him, like, you know what? You're right. You may think it doesn't matter, but it really does to me. It really does. And he asks him, do you want me to give you this curse brand, give you this sigil? Because, in all honesty, it may help you. It may make you more powerful. But maybe, just maybe, will it feel not as satisfying when you burn your family to the ground. In which he asks him this, and immediately Dabi's thinking, would it feel worse? Would it be not as satisfying? Maybe it wouldn't be. But Izuku then shuts it down and says he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to get this curse brand because he's not cursed necessarily. Not by his own fruition. He was strong, powerful. His flames burned brighter than anyone else's. Twice, Toga, Splinter, these were cursed immediately. You, on the other hand, you were blessed. It's just your body didn't understand your blessing. And this is when Izuku would show these flames that he creates himself, and he would immediately like dissolve these flames all around Dabi. Dabi would begin to scream and everybody would tell him to stop. But then Dabi would stop screaming. It wouldn't hurt anymore. The scars on his body, would slowly disintegrate. It would go to its normal color, no longer bruised, battered, and destroyed and burnt. And Dabi's entire body would presume itself back to normal, or at least what normal was. His hair white once again as the dye itself would burn away, and he would look at his skin and look at his body entirely. And Izuku would tell him, this power you have, it's a blessing. Truly is. It is not a curse. So I will not do that for you. I will not brand you with a curse brand. I will not give you that. Yes, will it make you more powerful? Yes, but you don't need it. You don't. Because the blessing is to really understand how quickly they threw you away and how quickly that fire burned you to what you were then and now. You don't need the reminder that laid on your skin. You just need the reminder that's up here. And he would tap himself on the head and he would tell them that soon, very, very soon, a fight will break out. Something will happen and it will be their time, their chance, and their moment. And that moment will be sooner than you can imagine. And soon, Izuku would be watching. Izuku would be prepared. And as days turned into weeks and months, and then weeks turned into months, Izuku would see this little thing pop up. This tiny little image pop up. And this newscast would show. And they would say that it seems as if All For One and, well, All Might himself are clashing as they speak. And Izuku would put a sigil on the ground and he would tell them, all of them, to step on it and prepare. Because this right here is where the hero world will feel every single shockwave for the rest of their lives. But that is where we're going to end off this part 1 of 2 of what if Deku had a demonic quirk. If you guys enjoyed, please show some love, leave a like, leave a sub, and leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, if you did, make sure to show some love to the video itself. Now, with all that said though, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.